الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. We begin with the 6th hadith in the Arba'un, in the 40 hadith collected by Imam An-Nawawi. And this hadith is one of those hadith that is from the usul of the entire deen. The hadith, as in the report by Imam An-Nawawi, is reported by Abu Abdullah النعمان بن بشير. فقال الإمام النووي عن أبي عبد الله النعمان بن بشير قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما أمور مشتبهات لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس فمن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ لدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في شبهات وقع في الحرام. This hadith, and it's a comprehensive hadith, we'll have to take it in chunks because there is a lot to discuss in it. The first thing, as we mentioned, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, he mentioned that Islam is based on 3 ahadith, and this is one of them. The first was إنما الأعمال بالنيات, the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar. The second, about bid'ah, كل امرئ يعني عن عائشة رضي الله عنها, about every action that is not from the deen is bid'ah. And then the third here is the hadith of An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, that the halal is clear and the haram is clear, and between them are the doubtful matters. Before we go forward, first thing, what is the takhrij of the hadith? What is the authenticity of the hadith? We look at the hadith, is reported in Bukhari, and it's reported in Muslim, in Abu Dawud, the Tirmidhi, Imam Ahmad, Ibn Majah, and Nisai, and other scholars of hadith have all reported it. It is muttafaqun alayhi, yani it is reported through so many asanid that there is no doubt that it is in the best and strongest books of hadith. And through multiple chains, not through one chain, not through one rawi, yani not just to An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, but it has been reported through Abdullah ibn Umar, Al-Ammar ibn Yasir, Jabir ibn Mas'ud, ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhum, and others. Why is this important? The first thing, because if we make a hadith from the principal basis of the Sharia, we need to make sure it is authentic. Secondly, some of the people of bid'ah, they want to bring shak and shubuhat, and we'll discuss that. But one of the things the people of bid'ah, they try to put against this hadith itself, because it was reported by Nu'man ibn Bashir, and Nu'man ibn Bashir, his kunya is Abu Abdullah, he is from the Ansar, and he was very young when he became Muslim. According to Ibn Hajar and the majority of the ulama of Tariq, he was around 10 years of age when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away. The people of bid'ah, what do they say? They say, how could he report this hadith? He was so young when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away. The answer to that, first and foremost, is alhamdulillah, the youth, the young shabab amongst the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, they were the best in memorizing. And they were the most dedicated to remembering and memorizing ilm, unlike most of the youth today that waste their time and waste their youth not memorizing and not learning, and until they are unable to memorize, and then they want to sit and memorize Bukhari. The youth is the time when you're young that you should strive the hardest in memorizing Quran and memorizing ahadith and memorizing usul and mutun, because this is when your mind is fresh. And that's why you find Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu and Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma and An-Nu'man ibn Bashir, that they were young, but they were excellent memorizers. Secondly, we make rad of anybody who puts shak or shubat on this hadith by saying that the introduction to the hadith by An-Nu'man begins with sami'atu. Yani when you study mustalah al-hadith, those ahadith that have an or qala or qila in the beginning, there is no surety, but they may be heard, but there is no surety. But those ahadith that begin with ra'aytu or sami'tu or something that shows his, that actual sense was used, like here it's sami'tu, he said, I heard myself. from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so there is no doubt in that. Secondly, it is not just reported by An-Nu'man. It is reported by Abdullah ibn Abbas and Jabir and Ibn Mas'ud and Abdullah ibn Umar and other Sahaba radiyallahu. So it's supporting narrations from all of them. So there is no doubt towards that authenticity. This is one of the reasons that Imam Ahmad said it is 1/3 of Islam. Imam Abu Dawud said it's 1/4. Yani from the 4 ahadith that are the principal ahadith. And the 4th one Abu Dawud mentions is the next one that we'll study, inshallah, Din al-Nasiha. Tayyib, when we look at the wording, we begin with سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول, that I heard Rasulullah saying, إن الحلال بين. What is halal? Halal, to untie or loosen something, but here meaning something that is permissible. That which is halal, bayyanun. It is clear, it is obvious. And the haram, it is bayyanun as well. It is also obvious. Now, before we go forward, this is a very important principle. Why? Because it tells you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made very clear that which is halal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made, for example, everything that is from the ocean halal for us to eat. No need to make dhabha of it. No need, if it's from the ocean, even it's mayta, it's dead from the bahr, from the ocean, it's halal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it halal in the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the famous mashhur, which is mutawatir, mashhur bil ma'na, mutawatir bil asanid, sahih hadith about the ocean and its dead and its water being tahur. He said it's halal. Tayyib. Now somebody comes and say, yeah, the ocean's halal, but shrimps are not. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it halal in the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it halal in sahih hadith. How did you come with that it's not? What is your daleel? I mean, the halal is clear, don't need to put doubts on it. Tayyib, that which is haram is also clear. Riba is haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it haram in the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in mutawatir ahadith made it haram. The ijma of the ummah is haram. Today somebody says, no, it's okay, you're in America. It's okay. If the bank forecloses on the house and they're the ones selling it, it's halal. Why? If you're going to get an interest rate and you're going to be paying riba, what does it matter if it's a bank or somebody else? Haram is haram. The haram is also clear. You cannot make it halal through fatawa. Very important. Very important principle. The halal cannot be made haram through a fatwa. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made something halal on me, if somebody today comes, no, we're in America, no, we're like this, and no, it's the 20th, this century or that century, or polygamy is illegal or whatever, you cannot make it haram on me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it halal, you cannot make it haram. You have Mormons, they change their religion. Why? They said because the law changed. But in Islam, we don't change our religion. What Allah made halal, stays halal. Tayyib, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made things haram on us. Tayyib, stealing is haram. What if you do it with a good niyyah? Still haram. Even your good niyyah cannot make the haram halal. Alcohol is haram. What if it's made out of honey? What if it's made out of, still haram. Nabid, haram. Does it intoxicate? Yes, haram. Doesn't matter. So this is why halal and haram are clear. Tayyib, baynahuma umurun. And there are between them, between the clear halal and clear haram, there are some matters, mushtabihat, that are doubtful. Tayyib. Very important wording that comes after it. لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس. Many of the people don't know about them. Shaykh Muhammad Salih ibn Uthaymeen, rahmatullahi alayh, he makes istidlal on this wording. What does that mean, istidlal? He derives a meaning from these wordings that you may not understand just by listening to it. If you listen to it, it tells you there is that between halal and haram. There are doubtful matters that many people are unaware about. They're not knowledgeable about it. What does Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen tell us? He tells us that doesn't mean that they are unknown to people. It means that many people are not knowledgeable about it, but the Ahlul Ilm, the people of Ilm, they know whether they're halal or haram. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he left us with everything we need for the religious matters. Yani, Rasulullah sallallahu told us that we brought you a religion that it is clear its day is like its night. What is the meaning of that hadith? It means that if you understand the kitab of Allah and the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the usul on how to derive fiqh from them and usul of tafsir and hadith, then those umur, they become clear. But a lot of people don't know about these matters. Why? Because they have a lack of ilm. They have a lack of knowledge. So people of knowledge, there are very few matters left that are not clear in the religious ahkam. Tayyib Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, in his sharh, he explains something also very good. What does he say? He says, does this mean those umur that there is khilaf upon? And he says no. And inshallah we'll discuss more about what these umur are and the aqwal of other ulama, but he makes a very important point. He says, Rasulullah didn't tell us fiha khilaf. Yani there is shak, there is shubha, there is doubt in it, but that doesn't mean khilaf in it. Because in khilaf there are so many matters where there is khilaf. But how will you know if something where there is khilaf is halal or haram? We have dalail, we have proofs. So it doesn't mean that if there is khilaf on something, just leave it. It is the incorrect understanding some people they take. You tell somebody, some other Imam said that the Taraweeh is to pray 20 rak'ah, some said 11 rak'ah, and said, there's khilaf on it, just leave it. Let's just not pray. That's not the way to do it. You have to see what is clear, what is the situation. You have to go to the people of ilm. You have to look at the dalail. What did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam do? What did the Sahaba do? What is muhkam? You have to look at all of that. And then even if there is khilaf, if the hukam is clear, you follow. It doesn't mean you make tark of it. Tayyib. So what is that which there is doubt? Imam al-Shawkani, he gives a very extensive explanation. But I will summarize from it. He says, one, there may be issues where either there is not a nas from the kitab and sunnah, or the people don't know about it. Yani, if there is an issue where there is no clear ayah of Quran and no sahih hadith, and people maybe don't know how to use qiyas. Why? What is qiyas? Qiyas is a principle used in fiqh to derive a ruling from an existing text for a new situation, or a situation that's not in that text. Inshallah, the brothers that were here for the usul al-fiqh, they will remember qiyas. Qiyas does not mean ijtihad. It doesn't mean some alim that sits somewhere and he comes up with the answer. That's not qiyas. Qiyas is when you take an existing ruling and use it for a situation that is new. So here, Ash-Shawkani is saying that sometimes when a person doesn't know the daleel, or there is no clear hadith and they don't know how to make qiyas correctly, they fall into that which has shubuhat. An example of that, not from Ash-Shawkani, but from I don't want to attribute to Imam Shawkani what he didn't say. So an example of that, if we look at khamar being haram, alcohol is haram. What about things like cocaine or crack or LSD? Well, the ulama of Islam, the ai have derived from a hadith that anything that intoxicates is haram. Anything that intoxicates the mind is haram. So marijuana is haram, I don't care if it's legal or not. I'm sorry, all of those things, naswar, anything that intoxicates the mind, that clouds your mind, it's haram. Even if it's known as, uppers or downers or this or that. Now, what is the incorrect qiyas of that? Somebody will say coffee is haram. Why? Because I have a headache and I drink coffee and I feel better. So it changes my mindset. No, you cannot make your own qiyas like this. You have to, does it intoxicate? Can you not think correctly? No, then you cannot say coffee is haram. Well, if you drink a lot of coffee, it's really bad for you. Well, you could drink a lot of water and kill yourself. Water can kill you, right? That doesn't mean water is haram. That just means don't drink too much, right? So coffee, water, these things cannot be made qiyas on this. But the other problem gets to be, like the Zahiriyya and their problem with Usul al-Fiqh, is sometimes somebody will make an incorrect qiyas. They will say, the Sahaba, they used to drink alcohol. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbid them from going towards salah when they were drunk. So if you drink a little bit, or if you drink and not at the time of salah, then it's halal. It's an incorrect qiyas. Why? Because this is an issue of nasikh and mansukh. Here the amr has been mansukh by the ayat that came later that made alcohol fully haram. Even in little amount, even if it doesn't get you drunk, but if it's pure alcohol that could get you drunk in big amounts, it's haram. So this is the first thing. Second, as Shawkani mentions, is taqleed khalif al-dalil. Yani when somebody becomes a muqallid of a alim against the dalil. What does that mean? There is a place for taqleed. Don't get me wrong, right? If you go to a Bedouin or a farmer far away, you don't tell them make ijtihad, get Bukhari and get Muslim and get Abu Dawud and then figure out which marjuh and rajih, which is muhkam and mahfuz and shad. You can't, because he doesn't have that ability. So he will go to a alim and he will make taqleed of that alim. Yani he will ask the alim will give them a hukam and he will accept it, and that's fine. But when you have a dalil, you cannot make taqleed khalif. Yani if the Quran has an ayah or a sahih hadith, then when you start following ulama in opposition to the clear ayah of Quran or the sahih muhkam hadith, then this, as Shawkani mentioned, this is one of those things, one of those matters where you fall into doubtful and you'll fall into the haram. Tayyib, Imam Shawkani says the next is something which may not be haram in itself, but it leads to haram. Tayyib, we get a question sometimes, is it haram to have a Facebook page? Tayyib, I mean, when you ask this question, in and of itself, it's not haram. I mean, if you're posting nasiha, you're not posting anything haram or anything that's makruh, and you're using it for something good, like many Islamic du'at, they have Facebook pages to post lectures and post flyers of durus. Khalas, not haram. But if you start going from there to let me connect with this sister who's not mahram to me, so I can give her da'wah and I can let her know about what the events that's going on, and let me send a private message just to let her know, this dars is going. Now what happens? You get into those devious matters. And when you fall into those, you will fall into haram. Allah musta'an, may Allah protect us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a very beautiful way for us to protect our iman. A very beautiful way. Which is not to make ikhtilat. يعني بين الرجال والنساء. Don't make it. I don't care if you're a speaker. I don't care if you're a wali of Allah. Let's say you really are a wali of Allah. Allah knows best who's his wali today. But let's say you are. Why do you want to test your iman? Why do you want to go into that which is that for? No, I'm going to counsel this sister. Why? Aren't there sisters that can talk to that sister? Can't she send you a message if really you have to? Khalas, you don't need to go and sit and counsel her. No, I'm going to go talk to the imam privately. It's private. Send him a message. You don't need to sit with him. And this is why khalwa with nisa, who's not mahram to you, is a very dangerous thing. And I don't care if you put cameras there, or if you do this or that. This is one of those things where when you start stepping in that, you will end up in the haram. The next, those things that are makruh. Imam Shawkani, his list. Those things that are makruh. Makruh is not haram in itself, but it doesn't mean it's okay. And when you go into the makruhat, you will go into the haram later. That's why Imam, they used to say in their kutub, and they've written that the one who protects his fara'id has to protect his sunnah. What does he have to do? When you protect your sunnah, it will protect your fara'id. Because if you're worried about making your sunnah salawat, no doubt you're going to make your farz. But the one who's careless with his sunnah will become careless with his fara'id. And the one who wants to protect his sunnah should protect his adab. His etiquettes. Because when you have good etiquette and you're worried about how to be respectful towards elders and loving toward children, then no doubt you will take care of your sunnah. And the one who has a lack of etiquette, he will start losing his sunnah. And that's why good akhlaq, smiling when you see a brother which are from the sunnah, these are so important for us to protect. Some of the brothers, they talk a lot about Quran and sunnah, but when you see them, they're mad. They greet you. They don't want to say salam to you. First they have to do a manhaj check on you. Who put you in charge of manhaj checks anyway? Right? And then look, from the sunnah, smile. When you greet your brother, smile. Have husn al-dhan. You see a Muslim, think good about him. Think good about her. SubhanAllah, these are the things that we lack. And the same is true for the opposite. Now we talked about the fara'id and sunnah and adab. Those people that get into bad akhlaq, looking at the faults of others, looking for weaknesses in others, they will start going into those things that are makruh. Their bad intention, akhlaq, will take them into makruhat. And those makruhat will lead them into the things that are haram. And that's why this is the next category. Fifth, those things where somebody has shak, whether it's halal or haram. And in this, there are two things. As my teacher used to tell us when he made sharh this hadith, he said there is fatwa and there is taqwa. And always understand. Never confuse the two. What does that mean? Maybe you can get a fatwa something is halal. And maybe it is halal. But it's from taqwa, you leave it. Some of the salaf, they wouldn't eat certain types of things just for themselves out of taqwa. But they didn't make it the fatwa. Understand? One is you from your own taqwa decide, I don't want to do this. But don't tell others it's haram. And don't take the fatwa to be taqwa. Maybe the fatwa is that this is halal, but the taqwa of the issue is you leave. Hey, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he used to go by a tree and there was a branch. And here Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to duck his head when he went underneath that. His father Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, he saw people getting too attached to this tree. Where he thought this would become a means of shirk, so he cut it. This is the right thing to do. This was ijtihad. He said, look, we need to stop the shirk. But his son Abdullah ibn Umar, when he went by there, he still ducked his head. There's no tree. That was out of his love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he didn't tell everybody else, hey, when you go by here, you have to duck your head. No, there is a difference. When you look at the taqwa of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, you look at Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, the one whose iman, if you put on one side of the scale, it outweighs the iman of the ummah. A man came to him, gave him some milk. He drank the milk. He's a Muslim, had husn al-dhan. Then he asked him, where did you get this? Even though he didn't have to ask him. A Muslim brings something to you, say Bismillah, eat. Don't doubt it. Unless you know that they're bringing haram, don't doubt it. But he just asked him. The man said, I used to be a fortune teller or a magician, and in that time before Islam, and I had earned a lot of money, and from that money I got this. No, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq already drank the milk. He didn't know, so there's no sin on him. What did he do? He made himself throw up. Why? Because of his taqwa. Imam Nu'man ibn Thabit. Who is Nu'man ibn Thabit? Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayh. The great faqih, the great alim. In Kufa, a sheep died. Or, meaning it was stolen, and somebody said it was stolen and it died. Yani it was killed. So now, Imam Abu Hanifa, he asked, how long do those sheep usually live? So when he was given the amount of time, He said, I will not eat sheep's meat until that time is over. Out of fear that maybe that sheep died and somebody got the maita, somebody got the dead body, and that's the one it is. Or somebody stole it and would serve him haram. Now, did he have to do that? No. Did he give fatwa, you must do that? No. That was his own taqwa with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, those things that have to do with taqwa and fatwa should be understood. The fatwa is what is clear from the Quran and Sunnah that is binding on Ummah. But sometimes a person from their own taqwa will do more than that, but he cannot make that binding on the Ummah. The next are those things where there are da'if ahadith and people use them to make something permissible. And this is also very important, and I will add to that something one of my teachers said, that this includes people who go what I call fatwa shopping. Yani, they look for khilaf to hide behind it. We respect khilaf of ulama. We have to respect the khilaf of ulama based on dalail, ijtihad, and their juhud, no doubt. But that doesn't mean you go fatwa shopping. What happens, and some of our brothers and sisters nowadays, when they go for Hajj and Umrah, somebody makes a mistake, and the one who's leading the group tells them, well, in the Shafi'i madhab it's okay, so it's okay. And then they do something else, and he goes, well, in the Maliki madhab, this one is okay, so that's okay. And then something else happens, well, the Ahnaf said that's okay, so it's okay. So now, you're not following any madhab, you're not following the stronger dalil, you're not looking at taqwa, you're just shopping to see what's easy for you, and this is from the shubuhat that will lead you into haram. Some of the people, they decided, but now what happens is, let's say the day is cloudy. The day is cloudy. What is the hukam in the hadith? What do you do? 30 days. But now you calculate it on your little laptop, and now the calculation shows the moon should be born. So now it's cloudy, but you're not Islamic, whatever, fiqh council, they come up with a different calculation. And ISDA and IFCA and fiqh council, they come up with their own calculation. Now there's khilaf between their calculations. Crescent watch and moon sighting have khilaf now. Now these are madahib today for us. Shak, is the moon visible or not? Which calculation? What do you mean? The moon doesn't go anywhere. The moon, just letting you know, it doesn't go anywhere. It's always there. It's just how much light is reflected from the sun's light and visible on the earth. That's what we're looking at. Now, how are you going to guess? Are you going to guess with city? Are you going to go with desert? Are you going to go with somebody with good eyesight, weak eyesight? How are you going to guess at that? How many hours do you consider something to be visible from the earth? And then, visible where? We're going to do Makkah. Why Makkah? I mean, Makkah is a beautiful city, but I mean, what does that have to do with moon sighting? So now, you see all the shak and shubuhat that come out of this? Why? Because you left that which is clear. Look, it's very clear. Get the masajid, the himma of your area together. You find out where the moon was sighted, where it was. They were trustworthy people. Yes, khalas, you're done. Come together. Why make shak and shubuhat, and then you have your shak, and then what happens? For Eid al-Fitr, you want to go by calculations. You don't care what Saudiya says. So Saudiya is making Eid, you're not, because you're going calculations. Eid al-Adha, your calculation is telling you it's impossible, but you're going with Saudiya. So one of your two Eid has to be wrong then. Either the calculation was right and Saudiya was wrong, and then that Eid al-Adha was wrong. Or Saudiya was right, the moon sighting they used, and your calculation was wrong, then Eid al-Fitr was wrong. Why? Stick to that which is clear. And this is the thing with those that go to the shadh aqwal of ulama to justify their hawa. What does that mean? What happens? We talk about music. Is music halal haram? And I'm not, look, if you listen to music, that's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not here to judge you. That's between you. But is it halal or haram? You have to be clear. It is haram. Tayyib? There is ayat of Quran, there are dalail. Look, in the kutub al-tafasir, there are clear ahadith, there are aqwal of ulama. But there may be a alim somewhere that said it's halal. Tayyib, he made a mistake. What is his dalil? There are hadith that are from the Tarajim al-Abwab al-Bukhari. Now you're going to make da'af of them? Yeah. But what they do, they try to find some alim somewhere that said it's halal, and now they're like, oh, Shaykh Fulan said it's okay. Shaykh Fulan is not our criterion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't tell in the Quran, يعني اتبعوا Shaykh Fulan, or Imam Fulan, or Abu Fulan, or Ibn Fulan. لا. أطيعوا الله ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Obey Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the order on us. So if you want to tell me halal, haram, bring me kitab of Allah, bring me ahadith, then we'll talk. Don't look for shad aqwal of ulama. An alim somewhere took an opinion, and now just because he took that opinion, you find it, and now you're going to say it's halal. This is the things that are from the shubuhat that lead into that which is haram. An example of this we can find from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, when he was offered something, and he said, if I was not afraid that this is from that which is sadaqah, then I would have eaten it from it. But sadaqah is haram on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Ahlul Bayt. So look, out of his taqwa, he didn't take from it. Other times when he was able to clarify, like when Salman al-Farisi brought food for him, at that time he asked, is this a gift or is this sadaqah? He said it's gift. He said he ate from it. Other time he asked sadaqah, he didn't eat from it. So if it's clear, go for it. But there is shak, you're not sure, stay away from it. It's okay, you'll have more food in life. We look at the example of Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu, that when he was Amir al-Mu'mineen, he told his wife, I don't want you to weigh the musk or the beautiful smell from Bayt al-Mal. Why? It's not haram, you're not taking from it. He said, because I'm afraid that smell will get on you and I will benefit from it, and that's not my mal to benefit from, it is that of Bayt al-Mal. This is the taqwa of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum in these issues. We could give many other examples, but for time, we will move forward. If we look at, and I'm going to summarize a lot here due to trying to finish this hadith in the dars today. The hadith, we find that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives a beautiful example in the next part of the hadith, where he gives the example of a shepherd that takes his flock to graze at the edge of a pasture that is forbidden. Yani he doesn't go into that which is forbidden, but he has them graze to the edge of it. And it's a beautiful example, because when you're always on the edge of haram, sooner or later you will fall in the haram. If you always make your salah right when the time's about to be up, even if you cut your salah, sooner or later you're going to miss your salah. That's why you shouldn't be on the edge. Get away from the edge. Stay in that which is clearly halal. And you will protect your iman, you will protect your dunya, you will protect your deen, you will protect your ird, your honor. All of that will be protected when you keep yourself in halal. When you go into those edgy matters and then somebody points a finger at you, even your ird, your honor will be dishonored. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he tells us that the one who falls in the dubious matters will fall into the haram. And he gives the example of the shepherd that shepherds on the border of the pasture. And then he says every king has what is their sacred pasture. Yani how you make something your hurma, your what is for you special. And the word in the hadith is used hima. An-Nawawi in his sharh explains that the Arab used to have places that they allowed people to graze from. And then everybody would have something that would be private to them. For example, if you have a big plot of land today, and it is open for people to sit in. You don't care if somebody takes your goats and grazes there, because it's just weeds. So then you don't care if people go there. But let's say you plant a garden inside your front yard. And it's a beautiful garden, you take care of it, you grow flowers and fruits and beautiful things. And then you see somebody's goat eating in it. Or you see somebody sending their animal to eat the flowers that you just blossomed and you did all that effort, you will get upset. Or today in our time, we give an example, somebody has a nice backyard and then you see somebody's dog back there pooping. You will get upset because this was your sanctity, this is your property, this is what you wanted to protect. So like this, he says, every king has that which they want to protect. Every king has what is theirs, and they don't want anybody there. And now he gives an example also of the kings and how they would have an inside area to their palaces. And this was where the harem ideas came out on Hollywood. But this was, which would be like Dawood alayhi salam had as well, as we see in the books of Tafasir, where their family, where their wives would be. And if somebody who's not mahram would go in there, every man, let alone a king, would be very upset about it. Because this was protected. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something He has made in that sense sacred for nobody to go towards. And what is that? Is that which Allah made haram. Now imagine, as a Nabi, he gives us a beautiful example, even though you don't see it in the wording of the hadith itself, but it's beautiful. He says, imagine if somebody has a place that is a sanctuary for their family, for their females, and they find somebody walking around the wall of it. Not coming in, but lingering right to the edge. Sooner or later they'll tell him, what do you want? Like, what are you doing here? He can tell him, look, I'm on the street. He goes, you're on the street, but keep it moving. Why are you hanging out here? Every man will, in the end. Now look at the halal and haram. Today when everything we do is on the boundary of haram, then look, sooner or later, this is something that can bring the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us. And that's why being in the haram is no doubt something you should make tark of. But even being on that borderline is something you should stay away from. Because otherwise we will definitely fall into that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made haram. The ending of the hadith, subhanallah, and I looked at the different rawayat. Some of them have this last part, some of them don't. But this one does, and it is authentic that it seems the majority of them do. Where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then told us that in the jasad, in the body, there is a mudgha, there is a piece of flesh. إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ جَسَدْ كُلُّ. If it is good, if it is corrected, the whole body is corrected. وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ. And if it becomes fasid, فَسَدَ جَسَدُ كُلُّ. Then all of the body becomes corrupted. أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبِ. What did he tell us? And verily that is the heart. My translation may be a little off, but the meaning. What does it tell us? That if the heart of a person, and in Islam you know there is a spiritual heart, a decision-making heart. If that is correct, then everything coming out of the body will be correct. And if that is fasid, if it is corrupted, then no matter how you may seem, everything coming out of that will be corrupted. And that's why I encourage the brothers and sisters, always work on your heart. Don't think this is like a Sufi thing. No, zuhud is for the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, for the people who want to follow the Salaf al-Salihin. Then zuhud and tazkiyah, this is for us. Look at the books like Jawab al-Kafi and al-Fawaid and others from the A'imma. Read those books, benefit from them. There was a brother who was selling his maktabah, he was moving. And when I went to help him by buying his books, I saw he had Rad ala Fulan, Rad. Nothing on Zuhud, nothing on Tazkiyah, nothing on the Amal al-Qulub. And at that time I had told that brother this is a problem. Later on, he had a breakdown, may Allah protect him and all of us. You have to be very careful. Because shaitan will attack your heart. You will be sitting in the dars of Quran, shaitan will attack your heart. You will be sitting in the dars of hadith, shaitan will attack your heart. You will be making salah, shaitan will attack your heart. And if he gets into this heart, then no matter how you look, all your actions are ruined. So that's why we should always make time for tadabbur, to think, ponder upon the Quran or upon a hadith or upon our own sins, and take time to make hisab of ourselves, and take time to think that in my heart, do I have hasad against somebody? Because la yajtami' al-hasad wal-iman. The hasad and iman, it does not come together in the qalb of the mu'min. Or shuh, yani when you want bad for others, you want to take away from people. Or if you have, this kind of kibr or these things in the heart, always make time to cleanse yourself. وَجَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا. Planning on finishing 2 hadiths, I think.